Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's edition of Fake Accents Unite. This time, we're joined by the ever-effeminate Britisher. Good evening, sir.
The stuff I have to put up with on these live streams these days.
I've got to come up with a new descriptor for you every week, and I'm sure someone in chat will go, he's already used that one. And
the equivalent of Dad's Army's pike, referring to me as the ever-effeminate Britisher.
I just think you're
you are a little bit effeminate, Britisher. Evening.
I am joined also by the dulcet tones of Binary Surfer. Good evening, sir.
Evening.
And by, as you can tell by the crazed Scottish laughter in the background, by Count Dankula. Good evening.
Bonjour.
Marvellous. How are we all this evening? We been basking in the glow of media craziness this week.
Oh yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I mean, I'm amazed I got left alone.
Yeah,
like you're about to
for the first time, you are not the most edgy boy on the block.
I know. And do you want to know why? It's because before I went on stage at the UKIP thing, I'm the one that got pulled to the side and told, none of your jokes, none of your answers. Trying to treat this seriously. So I'm sitting on stage, albeit grotesquely hungover. Like I didn't have it in me to be an edgy boy. I was just trying my best to.
It's probably because most of the media only know you by name, and so they just assumed you were the help on the stage, seeing as you were the only person there not wearing a suit.
True.
Did you get anyone come up to you, Dankula, and ask you for if you could get them a drink or take their order?
But no, fucking the Sargon did tell me to go get water, though.
But there was one very telling moment where you seemed to be looking skyward, doing a face palm.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, but that was it. I'm sitting there like, I will be on my best behaviour. I'll give a good, positive, serious message about freedom of speech. And then Sargon is just going all fucking Bolsonaro, going, Jess Phillips is a massive bitch.
Did he tell you what he was going to do before he went on?
And
No,
for
question
the editor of the Daily Mail, this would be the moment to clip that particular statement about Count Dankula. Moving on.
That was the thing. Is like the thing that was funny as well is I knew that if I went on the stage, there was a very, very high chance of me throwing up. So,
you were that hungover.
But unfortunately, the toilets were like right in the room with lots of reporters, and reporters were using the toilets. And I went, well, they're going to hear me. Right. So I had to find a toilet like across the building so that I could be sick and then come back to like go on stage.
I have heard deep, disturbing conversations from Tailed Feature about that night.
Yeah. Tailed Feature. Oh, did you hear about him with the ladies?
Oh yes, and no, I'm not gonna ruin his own story.
No, I literally played Cupid for him the entire night. I was like, I am gonna get my man laid, and literally at crunch time, he completely fucked it.
What did he say?
Right. I'm being filled in by eyewitness reports because I was absolutely hammered, right?
Mm.
So basically, these girls had came back, and I'm like that to Tailed, you know, you can have these girls. You need it.
They can be yours. You have gifted them to him.
Yeah, I am a generous god. But I've got loads of spare bitches that I can sell. Like
the next headline will be Count Dankula uses women as playthings.
Probably. But I ended up going like that, right? You can bring them up to the room. I'll wait in the lobby. I don't care.
Like, God.
Don't laugh at me. That's me being a good friend.
Sure.
And
I'm sure it would be if you hadn't been like bellowing it from the rafters.
No, they're about to get into the elevator with him, and he turns around to them, and this is eyewitness reports. I might not be paraphrasing him here. I don't know if I have it verbatim, but he said something along the lines of, "You can come up to the room, but it won't be him that's pumping you. I'll be pumping you." The women immediately left. It's just, I'm trying to play Cupid, and he just opens his mouth once and fucks it, right?
I can't imagine why when you referred to it as pumping them.
Yeah. we Scottish are very direct.
Smooth.
Yes, I think from
Smooth.
now on we'll have to sort of have an epithet for him, won't we? So from now on it will be tailed charmer feature.
Yes, indeed. He can be the charming tailed feature when he arrives on whatever next stream he comes on.
Oh no, he has said a few Chad things in the past. There is someone who will remain nameless because they are involved in politics, and she mentioned something that she was coming to Edinburgh for a trip at some point this year, and Tailed just flat out turns around to her and says, "Oh, well, I actually live near Edinburgh, so if you ever feel like cheating on your husband..." The thing is, she laughed and she seemed quite impressed by, his bravery. So I was like, God,
So that was the day Theresa May turned him down.
Yeah, it was Theresa May.
100%. The what was I going to say? I like the fact that Sargon's Discord is now well aware that the media is going to be infiltrating and trying to get more hit piece information off it. But so's your Discord. Your Discord is like prepped for that, but they've responded in two completely different ways. The way Sargon's Discord has reacted is, let's not do anything that could potentially offend the TOS of
So
Discord.
their conversation is entirely about which way to pass the port.
Which, obviously. So it's just like, let's not rock the boat here. Let's be cleaner than clean. Dank's Discord, I got a ping from earlier saying something along the lines of, so we're running this kind of competition to see who can say the most triggering thing to the media.
Yeah, like that's the thing is, it's only been applied retroactively. If anybody posts anything new, it doesn't count, right? But I'll happily read it out. In fact, basically,
Let's say demonetized.
Oh yeah, I'm already demonetized. That's fine. That ship sailed a long time ago. I'm down about £40,000. I love looking at my social plate and crying. But basically, if anyone who has posted in Discord in the past, if their post makes it into the hit piece that the BBC are planning, they will receive a reward. We're calling these the Sniffers or the Spastic Nigger Faggot Awards. There are several prizes that can go around. One of them is the Shitposting Participation and Smear Tactics Inclusion Commendation, or Spastic. The News Inclusion Golden Gag Emblem of Recognition, or the Nigger. The Finest Award for Great Gags or Terrible Shitposting, also known as Faggots. There will actually be cash prizes, quite possibly. So I'm very sorry to get your video demonetized, by the way.
Let's face it was never going to be monetized in the first place, so it's really not.
Will the cash
It had
prize be
Count Dankler
paid
in the title. That was it.
I'm literally a financial leper. Just my mere presence, and you catch it.
Will the cash prizes be paid in Canadian dollars?
Canadian dollary dues, or possibly Bitcoin.
Oh my god! Are you still collecting Bitcoin as donations?
I'm still collecting them as donations, but I don't do anything with them. I jumped out of that market a while ago. Fortunately, before the bubble burst.
Chat's telling me that they're now trying to smear Sargon with cocaine allegations.
What?
Yeah.
Carl Benjamin snorting cocaine on a live stream is the
that was the fastest cocaine snort I've ever seen in my life, and he didn't have a single bit in his nose. That was impressive.
Impressive. It must have been sort of forceful sniff. Sniff. Just horrendous. Apparently Mike Stutchbury's pushing it hard. If you're gonna, there's plenty of things they can get him on a moral, this is offensive basis. They don't need to make up loads of crap.
Well, this is the thing. Is, see if you just go after, like, it's the press's primary thing, and especially with like dribblers like Mike Stutchbury, the only thing they have is ad homs.
Mm-hmm.
Ad homs. That's literally all they have. Like they never actually go after the content of what a person is saying.
I think we need to get Dankula to weigh in on the most important question related to Mike Stutchbury.
What?
Which is how long before he's revealed that having been kicked out of being a supply teacher for being a paedophile.
Jesus, I have no comment to make on that. I have no comment. As far as I'm aware, he got kicked out for being a supply teacher because he tried to ban banter in his classroom.
How shit do you have to be being kicked out for being a supply teacher, though? I mean, I don't know about you. I had some pretty shit ones, and they're still teaching today.
Oh yeah, we had a supply teacher.
So that's why I go to like that thing. I'm like, I've never seen a supply teacher get fired for being shit. They usually get fired for doing something grossly inappropriate.
We had a supply teacher to get arrested for growing weed, and he still kept his job.
Yeah, well, one of ours used to get drunk in the back of the chemistry labs. He would literally have bottles of vodka in the cupboard.
To be fair, with both of your schools, I presume that they were selling bootleg booze and weed on the side to the examiners anyway.
Possibly. Yeah,
So the rest of the faculty were partaking. Oh god!
For a Scottish fucking school, you kind of need a little bit of chemical deterioration to sort of cope with that life.
Mm-hmm.
A Welsh comprehensive is not much better, mate. Trust me.
Oh god! I am sorry. I'm just exploring something else. The a couple of super chats come in. So Sitsko says, "Hello, dear achmophobiacs and gelatophobiacs. Enjoy a bit of reparations. Also, Thanos dies. Would you just leave the EU already and show it works?" I presume he's referring to like proving to other nations that it's possible to leave the EU, which just doesn't seem to be on the table at the moment in terms of like realistic expectations for anything.
Is it me, or is Thanos a more believable villain than Juncker?
I think it's less that he's more or less believable. It's just Juncker is a more sinister villain than Thanos is.
You should have gone for the hard Brexit.
Or it's more likely he'd say you should have gone for the wine, because we. Silly Sailor says, Dank needs to get triggering. We need more headlines in this campaign. Yeah, have you got any plans to rile the press in the same way Carl is?
No, I'm just sort of doing my own thing. Like, I'm number 4 in the list for Scotland, right? so that literally.
You mean that the UKIP stronghold that is Scotland?
Oh,
yeah.
Scotland is a very, very conservative. It's quite funny because I've never seen such patriotism coming from people while being quite left wing. Which is strange.
So your duration as MEP, if you get it, will be similar to the length that a child's arse remains untouched around Mike Stuckbury. I fucking hate Mike Stuckbury. That's all I can say.
I can tell.
I'm not a fan myself. Did you hear about his second flat that he has?
No.
Yeah, apparently it turns out that he's got a flat in Germany that he just bought. I think that's what he said. People were calling him out on it. Yeah, he's apparently hey guys, owning the right on the Twitters takes time. Give me your shekels so that I can buy a flat in Germany. Wonder why he likes Germany so much. Must be a Nazi.
Has anyone been able to find a single instance of the left going ad hominem that isn't projection?
Not really, no.
No, not really. I think that's pretty there. Anyway, Silly Sailor concludes, we can't let a poncy English southern bastard beat you, black flag. Sitsko says, you're used to them beating you anyway, Sailor. And so on. But there you go. So people are asking, what does Stutchbury keep in his flat? It's just like
the skins of young children.
I knew that one. Something like that was coming.
Mike Stutchbury, Josef Fritzl. What's the difference?
One had a patio.
one actually had sex.
Oh, dear God.
Anyway, I'm afraid I've not got masses in terms of news because I feel like we've been talking about Sargon to death over the last week, and there's just really nothing much else going on, unless anyone else has been.
You seen the facial recognition thing?
No, what's going on?
So someone can probably dig up an article. I'm trying to play games and talk at the same time, multitasking. But there's new software out that scans faces, crowds full of faces, and essentially checks it against the police criminal database and says whether you have a conviction or not, and whether you should be arrested or not.
Oh yeah, this stuff's been around for years,
but it's now getting to the point it's very reliable.
Yes,
the false hit rate's like less than 1 in 100 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that-
really good software now.
Not too bad. It's amazing what you can do when you upgrade from the
Well-
standard 144p to 2040.
And of course, the way one is trying to sell it is by telling people how much more convenient passing through Heathrow might be if you don't have to present your passport because you would just simply be recognized by the cameras. You can tell there's a certain amount of hard sell going on here.
Yeah, that's the thing that made me suspicious that they're going to introduce it nationwide. So it's already being piloted, and frankly, anything they fucking pilot in the police gets rolled out.
They're going to parrot that same excuse where people are going to complain about it, and they're going to go, "Oh, come on! Like, you've nothing to worry about if you haven't broken the law. If you've not committed a crime, then you've no need to worry." But then
And
on
if you-
on the other hand, what constitutes as a crime? Well, that is getting expanded all the fucking time, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about, mate. Our criminal justice system's infallible.
Well, it's like with the hate crime legislation. They keep going, "Oh, the hate crimes are spreading, they're growing." You're like, "Yes, because you keep fucking expanding the definition. What do you expect?"
It's like,
Are you people deriding the majesty of British law here?
Yeah, it's like they've done this really, really interesting thing where it's the equivalent of making sneezing illegal and then going, "My God, crime is soaring." Like that's literally what they've done.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's some funny stuff right here. Like, you can tell how busy this week has been in terms of the media, because one of the top stories is Minecraft player loses 5-year-long game. That's the level we're talking about in terms of what's going on in the national and international space.
To be honest, that's probably the most factual thing they've written in a while.
Yeah, it's like
that must hurt though. Jesus,
it
that's a 5-year game.
he was killed by a zombie baby and a spider. But the Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey has been on TED recently to have a chat. Let me just share my screen with regards to this. And perhaps the British, being my lovely assistant, would be so kind as to read the title.
Your lovely assistant.
Obviously.
This after that particular introduction.
Of course.
All I'm going to say is, deep law, get on it. We need pictures of British and address.
With the
TED
mustache.
2019, Twitter boss offers to demote likes and follows.
So,
What do you mean demote likes and follows?
I'm curious, right? So,
yeah, would that mean falling from a corporal to a staff sergeant? Like, what does that mean?
I mean, it would be quite impressive if he demoted from a corporal to a staff sergeant, given that that's ascending the ranks.
Yeah, that's a hell of a jump. Jesus, what did you do?
He failed upwards. Anyway, so he has admitted there's much work to do to cut down the amount of abuse and misinformation on the platform. It's like, first of all, you could probably expand the character limit. That might help, given that like Facebook doesn't have nearly the same issue with it. But the short character limit denotes quick, sharp, witty responses, doesn't it? Anyway, he says Twitter currently incentivizes people to post outrage, and he wants to demote likes and follows. So he would remove likes and follows, and you would instead like and follow topics and communities.
Well, I think
because there's no way that could be
basically
abused.
disallowed the posting of the words white supremacy, the amount of outrage that was posted on Twitter would actually diminish considerably.
What? Say again?
No, I mean, when he says, it allows for the posting of outrage, or it promotes the posting of outrage. Well, that's precisely the sort of, Californian culture that is kind of based on constantly being outraged at, supposedly seeing white supremacy everywhere.
Well, that's the thing, is that's not a Twitter thing. That's just the way society is right now. People like reading things that make them angry so that they can then yell about it on the internet. Everyone does that. That's not just Twitter. That's literally every platform. That's not these platforms like themselves. It's just the way things are now, sadly.
Wasn't there that study a couple of years ago that said something like social media produces the inhibition relieving effect of something like fucking 4 or 5 pints of beer?
I've not, that's quite impressive. It doesn't surprise me at all, though. It's like you've got people completely disconnected from any consequences for their actions, so why wouldn't they? Aside from the occasional person who is going to get arrested over whatever tweet they've said in Britain anyway. And then you've got things like immediately the audience gets on his case because he's saying that we're using machine learning to spot abuse. 38% of abusive tweets are now identified by algorithms highlighted to humans who then make a final decision and that sort of thing. And then the journalist says basically a video that showed me being beaten up and threatened with a gun to the soundtrack of a Russian anthem stayed up for 72 hours despite thousands of complaints. Now, I don't know if she was actually being beaten up or whether or not they just put the Russian anthem on something of her being beaten up. It's like, it must be so difficult running like a social media. Like, as much as I have very little respect for Jack Dorsey and his platform in general and its failure to recognize its own biases, think about how difficult it must be to manage a platform of millions of people all posting shit at the same time.
But has he not seen the fucking Terminator movies? That's all I'm asking.
What, Sky we're going to have TweetNet? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but instead of annihilating the world, it deletes all the memes and posts a picture of a fucking clown or something.
Clown world. Can you imagine if someone hacked Twitter? It'd be impressive. But the no, so it's like we have to create a healthy contribution to the network and a healthy conversation. On Twitter right now, you don't necessarily walk away feeling you learned something.
No, Twitter's a time vacuum for me. I waste way too much time on Twitter.
It's because for some strange reason, people listen to you. I think it's all Sue. I think she has thousands of fake accounts and she's trying to make your life feel a bit more worthwhile.
No, she doesn't have it in her to be angry. Well, trust me, she can actually get angry, but 90% of her anger is usually directed at me.
Yes.
Can't imagine why.
If that case, if you receive the 99% of her anger, I receive the remaining 1% when I debate Tunnock's tea cakes.
Do you know that she bitched about that to me while we were lying in bed?
What?
We were lying in bed and we were just talking, and it ended up bringing up Twitter, and she went, "You know that British guy? He's trying to say Tunnock's tea cakes are British and not Scottish, and he's wrong." You know, like, you are passionate about this, aren't you?
I thought you were going to say mid-coitus or something then.
As if you would catch Danks using a word like coitus.
Yeah, coitus. Yeah. Let us do coitus, darling.
Would you be willing to partaketh with me to recline into the upright position?
Would you accept my phallic appendage, man?
Gaze upon it, and thou shalt see it is like a baby's arm clutching an apple.
Oh dear God. Thanks for that image.
Instead of say my name, it's speak my title.
The Count is coming. This is really like
that's got uncomfortable fast. And
this particular episode of Fake Accents Unite is.
Yes, who knows at the mention of Tunnock's tea cake
completely
quite such a turn.
This is what happens when there's no news for us to talk about. Things degenerate. Oh God. When people are asking when your next Mad Lads is, as if they haven't got enough. Like, your last one went up today, didn't it?
What was that? Sorry, you cut out for me there.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, like, people are asking when your next Mad Lads is, as if they can't get enough already. Didn't your last one come out today?
Yeah, I just posted it a wee bit ago. I've got 2 big ones next month. One of them I might film on location, but I need to double check with the premises to see if I can get access to like film a certain thing. Don't know if they'll let me in though.
Knowing your back catalogue of edgy things that you've filmed, including raping Gary in a forest, who knows what that could be?
No, because it's a Mad Lad and it's a historical thing, there's basically an artifact that's kind of related to the person that is in the Mad Lads. So I kind of want to go and actually film the thing because I think that.
So what you're saying is it's questionable whether you're going to get access to Holyrood House.
No, it's not kept there. It's kept in. I don't want to say where it is because some people might figure it out. But
It's something for you.
It's in Scotland.
Are you going to do? Oh, go on.
You know where Alex Salmon got outed as a bit of a touchy-feely fella?
Yes.
Do you think he's ever had a go at Nicola Sturgeon?
But I think he must have. I think he must have. I mean, you don't work with someone for that long, and then you haven't ever been too drunk, at an office party and something's happened.
Oh, God.
I'm saying, that's. I'm not calling them degenerates or anything. Like, that's just human nature.
But
Well,
yeah.
All I can say is it's a rather a fishy subject.
I'm not taking that bait, British.
No, I'm not taking that.
Fucking dad joke, man. Fuck's sake.
Oh my goodness. I'm browsing something like The Guardian, right? Because it's usually filled with juicy shit. And there's one article which says, I feel grief and relief that I've never had children. Other women must share this feeling. It's like you've got to dictate that to them. Like, you must feel this.
So earlier today, I saw a tweet of yours, Dan Killer, in which you kind of suggested that there was something incoming from the BBC.
Yeah, I don't really care. They're literally going to post offensive comedian said offensive things, and they're going to try and act like that's new. I don't care.
So they were effectively asking you for comment, weren't they?
Yeah, they asked me for comment on it, and usually I just reply with a picture of our Lord and Savior, Ricardo Milos.
Did you see someone managed to post him to Cartoon Network?
What, Ricardo Milos?
Yeah. Let me see what I can find. Cartoon Network, Ricardo Milos. Cartoon Network Hungary's website got hacked, and they posted Ricardo Milos on like every single page.
That is fantastic.
I can't see anything specific. Like, there's a lot of YouTube videos about it, but yeah, they basically put him on every page in there.
What is actually his claim to fame? I mean, how did he become a meme?
His video is really old, by the way. Like, he actually first sort of came into the circles in around 2011, but he quickly died. The only thing that people know about him is he's from Brazil. He now lives in Florida. He has a twin brother, and he was, for lack of a better term, a rent boy. And he uploaded that video to show how sexy and buff he was for his clients. And it did the rounds in 2011, but quickly died. But then I think it was around 2017 it started going around the Russian chants. And then from there, it just completely blew up. And it's his smile. Don't know what it is. It's his smile.
So here we have, so around 4:40 p.m. EST on April 27th, 2019, Twitter user Nellis Marcus reported that the Cartoon Network Hungary site had been hacked and sneak a video of Ricardo Milos onto the site. News of the hack traveled across Reddit and social media, realizing that every episode of The Amazing World of Gumball on the UK site was replaced with a video from the subreddit of Ricardo Milos. YouTuber I'm a Huge Faggot posted an explainer and overview of the hack.
That is an excellent username. Yeah.
It was hacked for 2 days and no one noticed until the 27th. Cartoon Network shut down the site on the 28th to fix the problem, and it has since been returned to normal. It's a strong effort. Very strong effort. Oh, shut up, traffic. There you go. That's probably the most amusing thing that's happened all week. Good grief. Is everyone still there, or are we just
about? Yes.
We
just some dead air.
I'm trying to keep the stream going, guys. I'm trying to keep the stream going, but no. I mean, fake accents can be half an hour if we really want it to be. Has anyone got anything literally to talk about from this week, or is it just everyone shattered or a bit bored?
I went to Manchester and I partied in a gay bar. I had a great time.
This was the Canal Street area of Manchester, was it?
Yes, that's where I was.
Yes, Canal Street being the area of Manchester where very often the C, for some strange reason, is removed from the street signs.
Can't imagine why.
Yes. Well, I had a great time. Gay bars' music is always much better than regular places. I'm sorry, it just is.
In what way does it differ?
As well, aren't they?
What?
They are a bit more relaxed as well, aren't they?
Yeah, I had a great time.
It's all the poppers.
For God's sake.
Fucking 2 dad jokes in 20.
So chat are desperate to keep us on the air. So they're saying things like, is Tommy going to get elected? Because I can't see how he doesn't get elected.
I have no idea.
They will fucking find some way for him to be guilty of something. There's no way they're going to let that one go through.
I saw one particular newspaper article where it was already pointed out that legally it would be tricky if he were to be found guilty. Is it next month in court again? Because he's up for a retrial.
Oh, yeah. So he could be disqualified from running for the Northwest if he's jailed at the High Court next month.
Which means yes, he is going to be getting jailed.
Next month. Good grief. He got told he was warned he may be breaking electoral law. He launched his campaign at a barbecue in Manchester on Thursday.
Well, he can't really be breaking electoral law given that he hasn't been convicted.
No. He may be. He may be. Right. The rally offered free burgers and hot dogs from a catering van, but he was then told he had to stop giving away food after police told him it broke electoral law.
Okay, yeah, that I could imagine. Yeah,
providing gifts of food potentially breaks electoral regulations.
Yeah,
and that side of things. But like, I haven't really seen much in terms of like any polling in like for his support, like even from his own side. I know he's running against Alan Craig, who's the family's guy for UKIP, but I
don't know whether they actually do polling for the individual areas. I think they really just tend to do national polling.
I was looking to see whether or not chat had anything interesting to say, but it's all messages like dank with an arsehole like a ripped out fireplace.
I think you'll find that I'm a top.
Make the Britisher explain Roman devotio. Well, what do you know about that, Britisher? I don't know what it is.
Well, you would hardly want me to talk about Romans now, would you?
How many pictures of testicles have you all sent to each other? UKIP are gay. That is good quality. Good quality stuff here. How do you feel about how your meme has progressed, Dankula? Like the fact that you were like, oh, maybe if I get a 10,000 retweets, I'll go for UKIP. And now look what you've done. Look what you've done.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect any of this to happen. I was just annoyed that our Scarborough event get cancelled. I was just annoyed at that, and so I joined UKIP for a meme, and then I'm speaking at our conference, and I'm running as an MEP.
So you kind of ran out of control in that regard, didn't it?
It's okay, joke. You can stop now.
Like, you know what you need to do, Dankula? If you somehow win, you turn up at the Parliament the first day, take the dog, put it on the desk, and just get it to stay there.
I'll just bring him there as my wee mascot.
Yeah,
well, little do you know the dog actually controls everything. It's like a puppet master. It's actually operating Dank right now.
We need to stop Juncker from collecting the 5 infinity sovereignties.
Let me see. Armored Charge says, glad to catch you fellas on the stream. Dank, have you heard of Andy McNabb, Chris Ryan, Bravo 20 Patrol? Very good Mad Lads potential.
I've actually, it was a good number of years ago, but I've actually read Bravo 20. That was him talking about his entry into the SAS and the training and all that they had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Possibly.
Are you doing the Mad Lass that I linked you?
What one was that?
That was I have to go back now. It was Elizabeth something or other.
Bathory.
Maybe. She basically was a sword fighting bitch who broke into a monastery to have sex with a nun.
Oh yeah, I think that was her, but Elizabeth Bathory. I think that is her.
God's sake, I've got to. It's just you insulting me in our chats together, and that's about it. It's not much else going on there. Oh. Oh God.
Just thought I'd say evening all.
Evening, Rubber. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Yes, my son's just turned 11 today, so we've had a nice day.
Congratulations. Again, it's just dead air.
I was trying my hardest not to make another Mike Stuckbury joke then.
Binary is just playing his game. Dankula's bored. British is dead. It's just...
Okay, well, yeah, I'm here to liven things up.
I hope so. Have you had anything interesting this week?
Well, apart from my son's birthday, I just went through the whole kind of anger roller coaster with all the news that was coming out last week. Because, all the lies and the smears, it just reached a critical point. And I got so angry. Then broke the news story about people who gluing their tits on the pavement. And also the New York Times saying Trump playing Edelweiss. And some official function was white supremacist. Because it's not a song from The Sound of Music. It's the theme to The Man from the High Castle. And it was just that. No.
I tell you what was funny about like the climate protesters, the Extinction Rebellion thing, was aside from the fact that they really pissed off a load of people in Westminster, it did very little for like anyone else. Like I live in London and I travel around quite a lot, and it did absolutely nothing to impede my day. It's just one of those things where it was just like, oh, this is a little bit inconvenient.
What is the chance that when it came to the Edelweiss story, that they simply just, went onto the internet and basically asked, some site to translate Edelweiss and got Noble White, and then just basically like just flipped and started screaming white supremacy.
I had one of the Twitterati tell me that you know what the song means, and I go, yes, it's Christopher Plummer singing a song of peace and love in the face of the Nazis. That's what it's. And it's just they'll grasp onto anything. There's this whole nutty group of the outrage mob. They just grasp onto any tiny little thing and they will defend it with all their might, even when it's looking like the most ludicrous thing ever suggested. I've had somebody today was saying about Roger Scruton. He said he's unqualified to make decisions on architecture. And go, that's what he's known for. That's what he's got a PhD in. And I said he's got a PhD in aesthetics and architecture. And what do you do in that case? Do you say, oh well, in that case I was a bit wrong, or do you say no, double down, he is unqualified, PhDs mean nothing?
Just jump back to the climate thing recently though, there has been like this kind of furore over what's her name, Greta something or other,
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg.
Oh, look, another woke child. What a surprise.
It's just like
she's the new David Hogg, isn't she? It's just
like I don't mind so much like the fact that she's a child. It's just that so many things that she says are kind of like so dramatic.
Well,
like
did
over
you
the
see
top.
her holding the speech? There was a photograph I saw of her holding a speech, and it was kind of shot from the side onwards, so that you could see the rest of the panel look at her in rapt attention. And you could clearly sense that obviously they were pretending to be extremely interested in what this 16-year-old child had to say.
I'll have you know, children can be woke. My 3-year-old just today said to me that the current economic situation in China is going to make it become a future market-dominant nation, and the rest of the world will simply not.
It's quite impressive for Buddha to be able to say that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he said a few things about the Chinese, but not.
Have you heard what my
you should have seen the photograph. It was
it's
Michael Gove kind of holding his chin, kind of listening as if this is the most intelligent thing that he's ever heard in his life.
I took a different reading of that.
2 seats further down, you had Ed Miliband, the former leader of the Labour Party, taking notes about what this child is telling him.
The thing about you got Miliband, Caroline Lucas, and Michael Gove. It looked to me like Gove was trying to chew his fist, to sort of in his head counting down, how long do I have to sit here? Caroline Lucas looked like a mum whose daughter's doing her first ballet recital at a school talent show. But Miliband, he was just like, I love you, Greta. It's just, and they say a certain bearded chap from Swindon is creepy around kids. I mean, it was unbelievable. Miliband's expression.
Uncle Miliband is our equivalent of creepy Uncle Joe. The I don't really mind her age. She's like, there's been a big thing like ad homing her based on her age and her autism, but or Asperger's, I think it is. But when I look at it, I just go, are you really that informed? Like, does she worth like a Nobel Peace Prize? Like, if I search her name on Google, the top things which come up are like how Greta Thunberg can force more action on climate change, and it's her literally talking to Caroline Lucas and Jeremy Corbyn. And then there's vegan Greta Thunberg made her parents feel guilty for eating meat and dairy. As a general thing, and she's been described as a role model for worldwide student activism. Well, and
she's got this thing. You know who her mum is? Her mum's like a Swedish pop star who was in the Eurovision Song Contest. So this isn't just some, sort of girl from a small town. Just a little old nobody who had a dream. No, this reeks of media manipulation from.
Well, she makes
seriously doubting that a 15-year-old kid with autism managed to get on the stage by themselves.
She makes like a big deal about the fact she's like, oh, we wrote a book about my family's journey, and it's been distributed. Like all the profits have been distributed amongst 6 charities, but also we haven't taken a single penny of donations. It's all self-funded. It's all this. It's all that. And it's like. It is like in terms of like you might not be receiving financial gain, but like there are people who have definitely come up to you and gone, "We'll make a video for you," or "We'll make this thing." Because when I came into contact with her was through on a Facebook video saying, "This is the next activist like sweeping through wherever it's Sweden, Greta Thunberg," because this big thing, effectively like a professionally produced documentary on. How she basically spent every Friday skipping school so that she could protest climate change or something like that.
Time before she converts to Islam, do you think?
But you just go, oh, come on! Like your parents have been encouraging this. Like, did it start as you're actually concerned? Did it start as that? She maintains that it's all coming from a good place. It's all coming from this perspective. I just see she's just being used. She's just being used
as the woke transgender stripper 5-year-old or whatever it was.
Jazz?
Yes,
whatever it is.
That was believable.
I struggle to see the legitimacy that comes with all the doom and gloom and like this kind of like there. But one of the things which I think that we are not taking into account, right, is normies' weakness for child activists anyway. So it's like AA yesterday went on a rant about how like most regular people are looking at this and going, oh, like what on earth are the government doing? Like, how dare they just be taking advice from a child? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, etc. every single normie that I've seen like has just been like sharing every video that they can about her and going, oh, isn't it lovely that like children are stepping up for climate change and stuff like that. Like there's no real negative or ill will towards our government or towards her in general. In fact, there's a lot of admiration in general that I've seen.
Yeah, another weird thing about it was that she said that Britain was one of the worst polluters or worst contributors to greenhouse gas emissions, and that's just patently not true.
Which a quick Google would tell anyone is completely wrong.
It's
Yeah.
China's the worst.
Of course, China and India. But who's challenging her? Who's saying actually no? Who in the mainstream? I mean,
politicians aren't going to. Even Lucas knows absolutely fuck all, and she's probably the best of the lot in terms of knowledge about actual stats and figures on the topic.
Caroline Lucas drives me mental because she's kind of got like the occasional, like fairly rational position, like really occasionally, and then most of the rest of her stuff is just absolutely batshit insane. It's like, so we'd like to like increase carbon tax and to decentivize. We want to move to renewables, etc. I'm like, yeah, you're the Green Party. I can understand you wanting to do that. And then they say something along the lines of, also, we want to get rid of our military in its entirety. It's like, excuse me? It's like, oh yes, we should become a nation that espouses cooperative, its cooperativeness, and we want to be the first. Like we have nuclear proliferation that we should be adhering to, and we're going to go for full militarized deproliferation because we live in a post-war era. And I'm just like,
there's some logic to the craziness with the Greens, though, and the logic is, as twisted as it is, we'll get rid of the military and we use all that money to fund additional green programs. That's sort of the basic logic behind it. What it fails to understand is you can't fund green programs if you're taken over by a fucking foreign power.
Yep. No, I understand that.
Do you see the amusing thing with Labour where they tried to get on the anti-Trident bandwagon for a while till they realised all these Trident bases and all the manufacturing for them, all in Labour constituencies?
Well, there was a wonderful moment when it came to the whole Trident question there, when obviously Corbyn was arguing for unilateral disarmament. And it was then kind of put to him, as in, what about the submarines? I mean, we'll lose thousands and thousands of jobs. At which he then kind of, on the hoof, kind of came up with, oh well, we could simply maintain the submarines and we could still go out to sea with them, but without any missiles on board.
So the submarines, the entire purpose of which is to launch missiles. And they have
there was that one moment where the political correspondent of the BBC you could see the mask slipped, and he just couldn't hold it together, and he just looked at Corbyn and went, "So what would they be doing? Trawling for cod?" And it was a magic moment. But yeah, it's basically, obviously, right at that moment, Corbyn immediately started rowing back. And I mean, I think nobody knows what the official position of the Labour Party now is in that regard. But yes, for a moment there, he was arguing, well, we could still have all the submarines so we could maintain the jobs. They just would be pointless.
I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of the new Dreadnought class or the old Vanguard class. About 80% of the boat, the submarine, they call it boat, is made up of the missile compartment.
Yes, they're quite efficient in that way.
Well, going back to Caroline Lucas, I mean, she's so, I don't know if she's ill-informed or she just hopes the rest of us are as ill-informed. But when a Tolkien dwarf knows more about the environment, the American political system, and democratic principles than her. I thought that was my other favourite moment of the week.
Yeah, he was good.
John Rhys Davis death slapping.
Did I tell you I met John Rhys Davis years and years back?
No.
Really, really nice guy. Really grounded, working class background, or well, he certainly seemed to have a working class background. He talked about all the kind of things you'd expect. And he just struck me as someone you could have met in the street rather than your traditional quite up his own arse actor.
I think you can tell which of the actors, or British actors at least, are good eggs and which ones are just completely up themselves. Because Jonathan Rhys-Davies didn't hear a single thing about what he thought about life until this week. And I think that's it. If you know them more for their professional work than what they spout off. Emma Thompson's the opposite.
Oh my god! I've just seen the John Rhys-Davies thing where Caroline, because obviously the establishment media is all on the side of Caroline Lucas.
Yeah.
So he's been slammed for banging. It's like he said they were arguing about whether or not Donald Trump should be afforded a UK state visit, and he just went, "He's the elected head of a state of a great democracy, the last best hope for mankind. Of course, he represents the American people." Lucas interrupted, "He doesn't. He lost the popular vote by 3 million votes." And he slammed his fists on the table and said, "Oh, woman, have you never read Kenneth Arrow and Arrow's theorem? Any system of election has its problems." And she replied, "The American system has more problems than most." And so it's just like, every woman has seen a man react like this when they're caught off guard by common sense, yet they stay calm and resilient. Caroline Lucas is the reason I'm voting Green in the EU election.
The response should have been something like, every woman has been a dumb cunt like this and had a reaction like that. Lucas is an ideologue. She has a few small sets of good ideas that are far eclipsed by her absolute batshit craziness. I mean, do you see the one? This must have been a good 4 or 5 years ago now, when she was talking about carbon capture technology.
Grief.
You mean the technology that's only just been piloted now for the first time in the world anywhere and is still really unproven, and you want to build an entire system on that, you fucking nutcase?
Not this irks you at all, Binary.
Because I work in, let's say, the power sector at the moment, I get really annoyed about some of the stuff where people come out about, carbon emissions. I'm like, you know what the fuck you're talking about.
The other thing is that Femi got on Twitter and said, I felt she was being physically intimidated and that he could have lashed out at any moment. There's no kind of anti-Brexit angle that Femi won't pounce on.
I don't know much about Femi.
Well, he's this. He's. I don't know. He gets on Channel 4 a bit, and he's so hand-wringingly dishonest. Remainer, who.
What else is new? Yeah.
Yeah. He was on Channel 4 not that long ago, where they had a panel of, out in the West Country, a panel of university students, and it turned out the university students were 60-40 in favour of leaving the EU.
Yeah.
And Femi was supposed to be interviewing them and asking them questions, and they were giving really good answers about, sovereignty and depressed wages and all the common sense stuff. And he came away and he was interviewed on camera afterwards on the train home going, those weren't real students. That's not the kind of students I meet. I don't know who they got this audience in, where they got this audience in from.
Yeah, I seem to remember that. Okay, so are you still alive there, Dak? You're just quietly in the background.
No, I'm still here. I'm fine.
I'm going to go through some super chats then. So Sitskoen says, you have a criminal justice system? Dr. Martin Luther...
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, we have a social justice system, clearly. But Dr. Martin Luther Pepe says, Britisher! Roman anecdote now.
Next super chat.
Armored Charge says, we've already talked about that one. Ganja Bob Flanker says, I just tweeted you a meme, Mark, hashtag my lovely assistant. I have this here, actually. Yes, the audience has provided. Here we go. How do you feel about this, British?
Racist.
Racist? How is it racist?
You are doing the OK symbol, you filthy racist.
Of course. I'm not going to say white power.
Well, my character seems to be culturally appropriating kind of, the kind of hand sign of Southeast Asia.
You've got quite a strong mullet going on at the back of your helmet there. But also, I like that you've kept alongside your bra the collar of your.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
This just in. My Discord account just get terminated.
What?
What?
Oh shit!
Oh yes, there it is.
Is there any message as to why this has happened?
My account was found to have sent threats to others, participated in targeted harassment, or incited violence against individuals or communities. Which that is just simply unfucking true.
the Magna Carta was clearly inciting violence.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh my
Because only
goodness.
this morning I read your response to that journalist.
Yep. Yeah, they've obviously.
Which
again,
one was that? Which response was that?
Oh, that was this guy who's planning on doing a hit piece.
Oh yeah.
The Discord, yeah, it was him.
So you got that. Mind of Will says, sounds like you've got yourself an AOC with regards to Greta Thunberg. Farewell Thunderchild says, dank mate, don't bother with Triple H Holmes as a mad lad. Most of the story is fictional and based on embellished accounts. Mitch says, Greta looks like puberty gave her a pass. And Architect of Fate says, V is best girl, and Tism is now selling Dankula waifu pillows. So there you go. You're going to need it.
Classic.
You need, like, I'm waiting for the day when, like, 90% of your income is derived from the sale of Dankula body pillows.
Tweeting this out just now.
It's unfortunate.
So how many people kind of partook of this Discord server? I mean, I'm completely
I've got 10,000 members.
Oh, hang on.
10,000 people.
You need to tell what Discord is.
Yes, precisely. Yes. You're speaking to the person who's never been on it. I was once invited on in a rather confusing manner. You know, somebody just basically said, "Oh yeah, you should be part of my server." And I kind of, this was on Skype. I kind of messaged them back saying, server? What do you mean server? And then I never heard back. So obviously the other person must have sort of thought, oh Christ, complete boomer, we'll just leave him be. It was only sort of a month or two later that the entire story about said particular Discord server of Crowd and Tease then completely blew up. And I kind of realized, oh, thank God I never was on that server.
Oh, the whole Discord server get taken down as well.
Yeah, it's gone now. Yep.
Yeah,
So your entire server got nuked.
Do you want to know something funny?
Go on.
We literally have like 10 clones, like of the server, all on different accounts. So basically, when one gets yeeted, we just move to a new one.
You're like the Pirate Bay. It's just a different extension every time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good grief. That's so irritating. So much time that I spent on your server definitely going through the wholesome arguments for and against different perspectives in this world. Like, it's a very wholesome family Christian server, isn't it, Dank?
It sounds it. It very much sounds it, yes. Talking of wholesome and Christian, did anybody sort of catch my little sort of piece on Joe Biden yesterday?
Vaguely, but remind anyone who hasn't seen.
Well, it was actually somebody on Twitter who kind of said, oh, he had seen something about Joe Biden on Wikipedia about his having plagiarized a speech once.
Oh,
and
yes.
The moment I heard that, just alarm bells went off and went, hang on a moment, that was him? Because I knew that obviously Neil Kinnock had a speech plagiarized by an American politician. I didn't realize it was Joe Biden. And it is just wonderful that it's a speech. It's a very good speech by Neil Kinnock that was kind of used in a Labour Party political broadcast in the 1980s. And Joe Biden must have been in Britain at the time and heard it. And then when he went across to America, he pretty much used it verbatim for himself.
Yeah, like almost to the letter, wasn't it?
Yes, and it's just one of those sort of jaw-dropping moments where you sort of, how did he think he could get away with it? But of course, I mean, these are the sort of things that are now obviously going to get revisited with him standing for president. And I think that one in particular is not going to go away.
Grief. It's just, but then Americans seem to have a penchant for this. Like, didn't who was it? But they did it to themselves last time, wasn't it? Like, what's Trump's wife's name? Ivanka. Didn't she plagiarize Michelle Obama's speech?
I think that was done deliberately. I honestly think that was done deliberately. I remember Milo said he thought he was convinced it was done deliberately. Because, of course, it immediately grabbed the headlines. And otherwise, if when the First Lady holds some kind of speech, I mean, who really the next day reports on it? Do you understand what I mean? It gets completely forgotten. And I think the Trump team played a blinder there by deliberately once in a while when Melania Trump was doing anything, they would kind of put some kind of plagiarism into it. And I think it was just deliberately geared to do nothing else but catch the headlines, because nobody would hold it against her, because everybody would just assume that, the wives of the candidates, they have the speeches written for them. I mean, no one would blame the person themselves. So I think it was a sort of really clever way of just grabbing the headlines.
I mean, fair enough. If you're assuming more 4D chess, then that's fair enough.
Well, yeah. In
people are saying
it just seems so obvious. I mean, obviously nowadays, with pretty much everything being instantly available on the internet, it would be quite clear that Michelle Obama's speeches would be readily to hand. You would have the same reporters there that were there 4 years ago. They would clock that something was going on. So the idea that there was somebody there who thought, let's pull the wool over their eyes, I really don't think that was the case.
Fair enough. Like people are saying, if you had to plagiarize anyone, why Neil Kinnock?
Well, because he was a very good speaker. I mean, it's simple as that. I mean, whatever you think of his politics, he was a very, very good speaker. I think most people who kind of saw him in action would kind of agree. He had a completely mad party that was totally uncontrollable. But when it came to his ability to kind of hold inspiring speeches, he was pretty much just about the best one at the time, I would say.
I just remember Rory Bremner's impression of him, him doing the Finger of Fudge advert. It was, "A finger of fudge is all you need to give your kids a treat."
Clearly before.
Yes, because you're a millennial. We have
before my time.
The passion, didn't he, dear Neil Kinnock?
He had the passion. That was for sure. He had also the other thing I remember him for is falling over on the beach.
Falling over on the beach, precisely. Yes.
The Polyphant says F. Also, Scruton is not an architect.
Well, he's an aesthete, and he has written books on architecture. So, yeah.
I mean, he's considered to be a world-renowned expert on the pursuit of beauty, isn't it? Something like that.
Yes,
that's his main thing. Right. How was your cultural montage of learning about the past gone, Mark? Oh yes, because you've been trying to tweet things at me, haven't you? Both Britisher and Rubber, educating, not so obvious.
I may have also been sending you Discord links to share.
But the thing is that academic agent says that Britisher and I are being far too detailed. We're doing advanced level re-education where he assumes you don't even know who Stanley Kubrick is. So there's no point sort of going for advanced.
Vaguely aware that he's director.
Yes. So why are we talking about Barry Lyndon when you haven't even seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I've seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. I saw it earlier this year, but I was not impressed.
I agree with you. I think it's a terribly boring film.
Oh dear.
But then it was famous for being boring, wasn't it? Because in
a way, yes. I mean, it basically set realism above all else. And therefore, you just have extremely long passages in which nothing happens.
He says,
"A good movie for you to both watch. It's over here in the helicopter."
over here in the helicopter. Yeah, I'll just go in the where. No, I don't know what it was
Okay,
about.
we'll try you on Full Metal Jacket next.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've not seen that
You've
either.
at least seen fucking Aliens and Predator.
I've seen all of the Alien films. I was not impressed with Predator, so I never went beyond the first one. I've seen Aliens, obviously Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, obviously all the crossover stuff, and then I don't know. I played the video game as well. There you go.
But have you watched How to Steal a Million?
No, I don't know
As
what
I
that is.
advised in my tweet.
No, I'm afraid not. It's not something that's come up. Look, I only have so much time in the day, man. Like, I could do this. Maybe if I was not alone, but I've been enjoying some things. At the moment, I'm just really into like old horror films. So
How old? I mean, are we talking Boris Karloff, The Mummy?
I tried a little bit of Boris Karloff, but it was a bit dull for my taste. But I enjoyed a lot of the 70s and 80s runs of horror, so I've been enjoying that sort of thing.
What's it called? The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing is a great film. It's one of my favorites. I've seen that several times.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I still need to. That bored me. I need to see. I understand the cultural phenomenon of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it bored me. And then I need to see. True Lies is a good film, says chat. I've seen. What was it? I watched Society the other day. That was a weird film. I still need to see They Live. That's still up there on my list of things to watch. But yeah. Anything else you want to recommend to me whilst in
the horror genre?
I've seen Evil Dead. I hadn't seen Evil Dead.
But have you gone back and watched the George A. Romero zombie films, like his original trilogy, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead?
I've watched Night of the Living Dead, but I haven't gone further than that. And then I watched, what was I watched recently? I watched 28 Days Later. That was quite good. But I still need to follow up this stuff.
Marcas 10 says Debbie Does Dallas.
The Dance of the Vampires by Polanski.
No, I don't know that one.
That one's worth seeing. It's
have you at least seen Interview with a
humorous,
Vampire?
but at the same time, it's also got vampires.
What was that?
Have you at least seen Interview with a Vampire?
No, I don't know anything about that
That's
film.
just poncing about in billowy shirts.
Well, it was at least a half decent movie.
I liked Dracula Dead and loving it. That was always quite enjoyable.
Dracula AD 1972.
Well,
or even for a weird evening, watch Blackula.
Yeah, precisely. There was a blaxploitation film, wasn't it? The Blackula.
Yeah.
Yes.
But with David Niven in it as well.
Who?
Please.
I'm just I like hurting your ears and your brain, Britisher. You can see that your pupils will be dilating, and just and the Amityville Horror. Apparently, I've been told to watch. I don't know that one. I have not seen that one.
It's a bit pants, but well, at least you can cross it off a list.
I still maintain the best horror film I've ever seen is The Thing so far.
Yeah.
That's well up there. The only horror films I don't like, but then I really like kind of monster flicks and sci-fi and that sort of thing. Whereas I really am disturbed in a way which I don't like by possession and spiritual haunting kind of films.
All right, so give The Exorcist a miss.
I don't mind. It's weird to me, especially given my Christian upbringing, where and to a degree, I still have
here is the
belief
thing.
in the spiritual.
Here is the thing: that the Exorcist is a very Christian film.
Is that what you're saying?
It's absolutely. You watch that film, and because it's written by the novelist and scriptwriter was William Peter Blatty, who's a very devout Christian, but he doesn't mind looking into the flip side, the darkness, the kind of depravity. He's not afraid to do that and still keep his faith. So it's the religious symbolism and subtext is really strong in The Exorcist.
People were saying like the Wicker Man and stuff like that. I assume they clearly mean.
I've got to correct Mr. Spoon. Yeah, the crucifix scene, very much so. Because she is trying to. It's the devil trying to deface the thing that's revered and valued. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the devil.
I tell you what, I do need to still see The Shining.
How about The American Werewolf in London?
It made its way into my list. I watched like 10 minutes of it and then never came back to it just because.
What about the Howling
it's interesting because it's the film that inspired Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, right.
He basically saw that and then sort of said, when he came up with a concept for his famous video, he wanted to do something like that. And he even went to the lengths of hiring the director of American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, impressive. Wasn't that was quite controversial, wasn't it, Thriller, when it came out anyway, for being too scary?
It was unbelievable. The reaction was unbelievable. Basically, media sort of all across the world was kind of, iffing and butting. Should we actually show it because then we'll get the views, or should we do the decent, honourable Christian thing and not allow the kids to see it? But yeah, it was a massive phenomenon at the time. It's quite difficult to explain to today's generation just what it meant at the time.
The just a super chat that's come in from Farewell Thunderchild saying, after Tumblr, Dank's Discord was my trap porn haven even. And so there you go. Thanks for making me read that out on a stream.
I think I might need to go so that I can deal with this because everyone's like, "What the hell's happening?" So I might need to sort all this. But it'll be good.
That's fair enough. I think we're gonna round off for the evening, just in general. Anyway,
you may have some memes that you need to link in.
You're really desperate for me to show these memes, aren't you?
Go until you do. So
I tell you what, let's have a little bit of a meme fest.
Cheers, thanks.
We'll go through the memes. Good to see you, Marcus. Yeah, take care.
And all the best with everything.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Right, here we go. So we've got me, politically correct humor, feminist cucks and plebs. I didn't realize you had such an issue with two plebs, Binary.
Is an exception.
Oh yes, this was a thing like ages ago, where they did this big stream about like unrealistic depictions of women in video games.
You got to start keysing every month.
All right, which member of the Discord likes playing Flames of War? Because that's where the picture's from.
Flames of
come on.
What?
Flames of War is a war game.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All we're talking about is feminist frequency. Straight out of Europe. Here we go. Fuck the Polish. Strong. Black hole discovered 500 million trillion kilometers away. Still closer than Brexit. Scottish sunglasses. This is clearly there.
I like that.
And there we go. Anyways, I'm just gonna round.
You missed one.
Did I miss one?
You missed one.
Oh, there's a new one. I'll pop it up and then we'll round off. There we go. Here's why my ideological adversaries should be put into prison camps so we can avoid another Holocaust. It's so true.
No price.
Would that happen to a great former supply teacher?
I did literally run into someone the other day who said that if someone's being a bit of a dick, then we should imprison them until they learn their lesson. And I was like, and how many dicks are you going to do in prison? All of them. A strong effort there. Anyways, I apologize, everyone. Like, I just don't have any like too much to talk about this evening, and my guests as well are a bit threaders as well, by the sound of things. But Dr. Martin Luther Pepe says, "Rubber Roman anecdote now."
No, that's the British's job. I do tanks.
So there you go.
No, I'm the one with the tank video.
I have a tank video.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Like, it's hopefully next week we'll have more to talk about, and we'll have a longer stream, and it'll be a bit more coherent. I'm really sorry I had to throw this one together a little bit last minute, but thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Thank you very much to my guests. Thanks to Count Dankula, who was obviously here earlier. Thank you, Binary. Thank you, Rubber. And thank you, Britisher. Take care, everyone. And good night.